The poor young man who saved a billionaire's daughter. The boy with nothing. Darius Cole woke up every morning before the sun. Not because he wanted to, but because hunger didn't let him sleep. At 24, Darius had learned what it meant to survive with nothing. No parents. No inheritance. No safety net. Just a thin mattress on the floor of a one-room apartment in Southside Chicago, peeling paint on the walls, and a small window that rattled whenever the wind passed through. He sat up slowly, rubbing his eyes. "Another day," he muttered. The room smelled faintly of instant noodles and cold air. His phone buzzed on the cracked wooden table beside him. No missed calls. No messages. Just a notification reminding him his rent was 3 weeks overdue. Darius sighed. After his mother died 3 years earlier, worked to death as a hospital cleaner, life had been a steady downhill slide. His father had disappeared when he was 10. College dreams vanished. Scholarships fell through. Reality came fast and hard. Still, Darius refused to steal. He refused to beg. He believed, maybe foolishly, that character was the one thing poverty couldn't take. He pulled on his worn hoodie, tied his sneakers, and headed out into the cold morning. Outside, the city was already alive. Buses hissed. Cars honked. People rushed past him, eyes glued to phones, lives moving faster than his. Darius walked 10 blocks to the construction site where he picked up day jobs, lifting bricks, hauling trash, doing whatever paid cash. Today, the foreman shook his head. "No work today, kid." Darius nodded politely. "I understand." He turned away before frustration showed on his face. No work meant no food. He walked instead toward downtown, hoping for something, anything. He didn't know that before the sun set, his life would collide with a world so far from his own that it would change everything. Across the city, in a glass tower overlooking Lake Michigan, Ava Kingsley stared out of a floor-to-ceiling window. She looked calm. But inside, she was suffocating. At 22, Ava was the daughter of billionaire tech mogul Leonard Kingsley, founder of Kingsley Dynamics. Private jets. Security teams. Luxury she never asked for. And a life she didn't choose. Her phone buzzed. Her father's assistant. "Miss Kingsley, your driver is ready." Ava exhaled slowly. "Tell him I'll be down in 5. She slipped on a simple coat, nothing flashy, and tied her hair back. Today, she had insisted on going out without her usual heavy security. Just one driver. One bodyguard. She needed air. Her father didn't trust the world. And the world didn't trust her intentions. As the elevator descended, Ava whispered to herself, "I just want one normal day." She didn't know that normal was about to shatter. The black SUV moved smoothly through downtown traffic. Ava sat in the back seat, scrolling through her phone, unaware of the second vehicle trailing them. 2 men inside the car ahead exchanged a glance. "Target confirmed," one said quietly. At the next intersection, the SUV slowed. That was when everything went wrong. A delivery truck suddenly swerved. Horns blared. The SUV stopped abruptly. The back door flew open. Ava screamed. Hands grabbed her arm. "Move. Now." Her bodyguard lunged, but another man slammed a weapon into his ribs. Panic exploded. And that was when Darius, walking past the intersection with his hands in his pockets, heard the scream. Darius froze. People screamed. Cars honked. Phones came out. But no one moved. He saw a young woman being dragged toward a waiting car. Fear on her face. Real fear. His heart pounded. This was not his problem. He was poor, hungry, powerless. But then Ava's eyes met his. "Please," she cried. Something snapped inside him. Before he could think, Darius dropped his bag and ran. "Hey!" he shouted. One of the men turned, surprised. Darius slammed into him with everything he had. They both hit the ground hard. Chaos erupted. The kidnappers weren't expecting resistance, especially not from a random stranger in worn clothes. A siren wailed in the distance. The men cursed. Abort. Go. They released Ava and sped off. Darius lay on the pavement, chest heaving, blood trickling from his lip. Ava dropped to her knees beside him. "Oh my God, you saved me." Darius looked up at her, dazed. "You okay?" he asked. That was all. No demands. No questions. Just concern. Minutes later, black SUVs flooded the street. Security agents. Police. Sirens. Leonard Kingsley himself stepped out of a vehicle, eyes wild with fear. "Ava." She ran into his arms. "I'm okay, Dad," she said quickly. "I'm okay." Then she pulled back and pointed. "He's the one who saved me." Leonard turned. His gaze landed on Darius, bruised, bleeding, clothes worn thin. The billionaire stared. "You?" Leonard asked slowly. Darius tried to stand but staggered. "Yes, sir." Leonard approached him, studying him like a puzzle he didn't understand. "What's your name?" "Darius Cole." Leonard nodded once. "You risked your life for someone you don't know." Darius shrugged weakly. She needed help. In that moment, Leonard Kingsley realized something terrifying. The world he controlled with money had just been defeated by a young man with none. At the hospital later that night, Leonard stood beside Darius's bed. "My daughter would be dead or missing if not for you," he said quietly. "I don't forget debts." Darius shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't do it for money." Leonard studied him longer this time. "Good," he said. "Because what I'm offering isn't charity." Darius frowned. "I want to change your life," Leonard continued. "Education, work, opportunity. Not because you're poor, but because you're honorable." Darius swallowed hard. For the first time in years, hope knocked on his door. And Ava, standing silently by the window, smiled, because she knew this was only the beginning. Darius had never seen a hospital room like this. The bed was adjustable. The walls were warm beige, not dull white. A flat-screen TV hung silently across from him, and there was a small couch by the window. Everything smelled clean, too clean. He sat on the edge of the bed, swinging his legs slightly, feeling out of place. A nurse smiled as she checked his vitals. "You're healing fast. You must be strong." Darius gave a polite nod. Had to be. When she left, the silence returned. He looked down at his hands, rough, scarred, hands that had lifted bricks and pushed dumpsters. Those same hands had changed the direction of his life. A knock came at the door. Ava stepped in. She wasn't dressed like a billionaire's daughter now. Just jeans, sneakers, and a hoodie. No makeup. No guards hovering over her shoulder. "Hi," she said softly. Darius stood up quickly. "Hey, are you supposed to be here?" She smiled faintly. "I insisted." They stood there awkwardly for a moment. "Thank you," Ava said again, her voice steady but emotional. "I don't think you understand what you did." Darius scratched the back of his neck. "I just reacted." "No," she replied. "You chose." That word stayed with him. She looked around the room. "My dad wants to talk to you later. About next steps." Darius nodded but didn't look excited. "You don't trust him," Ava observed. Darius met her eyes. "I don't trust promises that sound too good." Ava didn't argue. Instead, she respected that. "I wouldn't either," she said. Leonard Kingsley sat alone in his office that night, city lights glowing behind him. Billionaire. Visionary. Feared negotiator. But tonight, he was just a father who almost lost his child. His head of security stood across from him. "We traced the attempt. It wasn't random." Leonard's jaw tightened. "Go on." Someone wanted Ava specifically. Professional job. Sloppy execution. Leonard leaned back. "Meaning this won't be the last attempt." Leonard's eyes hardened. "And the young man?" he asked. Darius Cole. Clean record. No affiliations. Works odd jobs. Leonard nodded slowly. Get him protection. The security chief hesitated. Sir, are you sure? Leonard stood. He put himself between danger and my daughter without hesitation. That kind of man doesn't get left exposed. The next morning, Leonard visited Darius again. This time, the atmosphere felt different. Formal. I'll be direct, Leonard said. I want you working with me. Darius blinked. Doing what? Leonard slid a folder onto the table. Training. Education. A paid position while you study. Darius flipped through the documents. Numbers he'd never imagined. This is a lot, Darius said carefully. Why me? Leonard didn't dodge the question. Because men like you are rare, he said. And because the people who targeted my daughter may target you next. Darius's stomach tightened. So this is protection, he said. And opportunity, Leonard replied. One without the other would be dishonest. Darius closed the folder slowly. I need time, he said. Leonard nodded. Take it. As Leonard turned to leave, Darius spoke again. Sir. Leonard paused. I don't want to be owned, Darius said. Leonard turned back, surprised, then smiled slightly. Good, he said. Neither do I. When Darius was discharged, he didn't go to a mansion. He went back to his tiny apartment. The door creaked open. Same cracked floor. Same smell. Same silence. He sat on the mattress and stared at the ceiling. A knock came. He opened the door to find Ava standing there, with groceries. You followed me? He asked, half smiling. She shrugged. You looked like someone who hadn't eaten properly in a while. They sat on the floor, eating quietly. Why did you really come? Darius asked. Ava hesitated. Because everyone around me is paid to care, she said. And you cared for free. Darius looked at her. That was the moment something shifted. Not romance yet, not love, but recognition. Two people from different worlds, meeting in the middle of truth. Across the city, a man watched security footage rewind. The failed abduction. The interference. The face of Darius Cole froze on the screen. The man smiled darkly. So, he said, the poor boy wants to be a hero. He picked up his phone. Phase 2, he said. Remove him. That night, Darius stood by his window, watching police lights flash far away. He picked up Leonard's folder again. This wasn't just opportunity. It was danger. But walking away wouldn't protect Ava. It wouldn't protect him. He took a deep breath and made the call. I'm in, he said. Leonard's voice on the other end was calm. Then your life begins now, he replied. Darius had just fallen asleep when the noise started. Glass shattered. His eyes flew open. Before he could sit up, his door burst inward, slamming against the wall. Two masked men rushed in. Get him. Instinct took over. Darius rolled off the mattress as a gun fired, the bullet tearing through the thin wall where his head had been seconds earlier. He grabbed the small metal chair beside the bed and swung with everything he had. One man went down hard. The second raised his weapon, but suddenly red dots appeared on his chest. Drop it! The man froze. Black-clad security agents flooded the room. Within seconds, it was over. Darius stood there shaking, chest heaving, surrounded by strangers who moved like soldiers. One of them spoke into his earpiece. Target secured. He's alive. Darius finally understood. This wasn't an offer anymore. This was war. By morning, Darius's apartment was sealed off. Leonard Kingsley arrived in person. I'm sorry, Leonard said quietly. I hoped it wouldn't escalate this fast. Darius stared at the broken door. They tried to kill me. Leonard nodded. Because you matter now. Darius laughed bitterly. That's the problem. Leonard placed a hand on his shoulder. Firm, steady. "You're coming with us," he said. "Not as property. As priority." Darius looked around one last time at the life he was leaving behind. Then he walked away. This is just the beginning of the story. A poor young man saved her life. He never knew she was a billionaire's daughter. When billionaire Kingsley discovered that Darius, the poor young man who saved his daughter, was now dating her, one question changed everything. Did Kingsley accept Darius as his future son-in-law, or did his wealth stand in the way? In Part 2, the truth will unfold. Hidden tensions, tough decisions, and a test of love that money cannot buy. Sit back, relax, and get ready as we bring you the next episode. Subscribe to Mira Wealth Stories so you don't miss what happens next. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on your notification bell. The story is just getting started.